Let me just say this, that we will still have our press conference later on to let you know our scorecard, what we have been able to do and what we are planning to do in the next year. You know that I clocked 1 year as Minister of State a few days ago on the 21st of August, precisely. But I have an opportunity to present my scorecard to the Federal Executive Council at a retreat on the 7th. So I will keep my gunpowder dry with you until after that event. I have to first give my scorecard to my employers before I give to those of you. You know, as they say, the sun will shine on those who are standing before it reaches those who are kneeling on the ground. As the knocker of Chinua Achebe's Things Fall Apart said. Distinguished members of the Fourth Estate of the Realm, I think that it has become necessary once again to clarify issues around deregulation. Expectedly, deregulation is something that touches all of us very minutely because it's at the core of everything we do. Because the product we are talking about is at the core of our daily lives, moving around. So every Nigerian is somehow affected, one way or the other, by this policy direction. And I believe that today there is a consensus that this policy direction is a necessary one. Successive governments in this country have all desired to achieve deregulation. Some lacked the political will. At other times, the time was not very appropriate because the product we are talking about actually is very sensitive to the price of crude oil. When you say PMS, you must understand that it is refined from crude oil. And therefore, whenever the crude oil price goes up, you will understand that the refined product, the price of the refined product in the marketplace will also go up. Because the feedstock goes up, the price of the feedstock go up, then, of course, the derivative from that feedstock is also going to go up. And that is why when the price of the feedstock went down, this government was able to at least transfer some of that joy to the public. And at that time, we kept saying, and we have never minced words, that when the price comes up, when the price of crude goes up, that we will be seeing some of that movement at the pump, which is what is happening today. You all know Mr. President's alignment with the position of the poor people in Nigeria. He has always been on the side of the poor people. And left to Mr. President, I am very certain that he will never have increased pump price. But for this to happen, we must understand that this must be an inevitable policy direction, especially at this time of COVID-19. COVID-19 saw oil prices at the zero zone, something that has never happened before, at the negative zone. Some countries had to pay people for them to come and evacuate their crude oil. That means they were selling their crude oil at minus. Here in Nigeria, the crude oil price, our crude, the price of our crude went down to about $10, less than 10. At that time, our earnings were not able to support subsidy. So it became inevitable. Because subsidy itself is a very tricky thing. You are subsidizing at two ends. It's like burning a candle at both ends. You are subsidizing at the pump. At the same time, you are also subsidizing the foreign exchange that is used to import this product. So if you put all the subsidies together, it came to about ₦1 trillion, more than ₦1 trillion every year being spent on subsidy. And who were we subsidizing? You all know, a few years ago, all the controversy around subsidy, all the claims that people were making. No poor man was making any of those claims. It was the same rich people that were feeding fat from subsidy. So at the end of the day, the rich people are the ones that benefit, and the poor people continue to lose from even subsidy. So thinking through it, at this point, against the background that this country can not at this time continue to afford this subsidy, it's spending over ₦1 trillion on subsidy every year. We decided that it was time to deregulate. What that meant was that government stood back from the business of importing and supplying product at the pump. And we feel that market forces should take over so that the price of the product at the pump will be determined by market forces. But government, of course, now had to play its traditional role of protecting the consumer so that nobody over-profiteers on the consumer. So today, I can say that we and yourself and the people are on one side. We have to watch keenly so that the marketers will not over-profiteer, will not charge the public too much for this commodity. So we are on the same side now. So when people begin to blame government for higher prices and so on, it's not, I think, the right thing. Because maybe they don't understand that at this point, we are no longer fixing prices. That is what deregulation means. We are no longer in the business of fixing those prices. We have stepped back, and we are allowing market forces to determine the price at the pump. If you noticed, when the crude oil price went down earlier in the year, it reflected at the pump. And today, if crude oil prices go down, it will reflect at the pump. But when crude oil prices go up, then it will also reflect at the pump. It is the same product we are talking about. The same crude oil that is used to refine petrol. So if that price goes up, comes down, it will affect the pump price of the product. And I thought, okay, this is a time for us to sit down again and probably discuss and understand ourselves better. Because I see you at this point as partners. We are on the same side. And I also like to use this opportunity to thank you for continuously being on our side, being very professional in your reporting. Since I came on board, I have not really seen any malicious reporting. You know, sometimes some press people go and just twist what you have said against you. That has not happened. That shows a lot of professionalism. And I thought I should also use this opportunity to thank you for being very professional all the time. And I expect that going forward, I would like us to see ourselves as partners in progress. It is about the survival of our country, the economic survival of this country. I believe at the end of the day, all of us want this country to survive. And there are certain things that the country can ill afford at this time. Look at where the price of crude is. Price of crude is around $45 per barrel. And we are able to achieve 45 barrels through a lot of pain and cutting of our production. We have cut our production, daily production, to 1.412 million barrels per day. And you can see from over 2 million to cut your production to 1.412 million per day. It's almost half your earnings just to be able to achieve $45. Before now, we were talking about 2.6 million barrels per day at a crude price of $100 and something per barrel. We have seen that in this country, but not in this administration. So what is available to government has reduced considerably in terms of our foreign exchange earnings. And you know that this commodity, crude oil, accounts for over 90% of our foreign exchange earnings. So where do you get the dollars to continue to import this product that you are selling at a loss? So let us sit down as Nigerians and reason together. This is a necessary policy direction. I believe that it will come with a few pains, I agree, at least initially. But when we get over this bump, I can assure you that we will all be happy that we took this decision for the survival of this country. Government also realizes that this policy direction will also come with some pain to all of us, even myself. If you've been reading the papers, you must have seen that I've already surrendered my vehicles to be converted to LPG, CNG. Because what government is trying to do is also to introduce cheaper forms of fuel for our cars. Cheaper and even cleaner. And we are very serious about it. The rollout will be very soon. Towards the end of this month, maybe next month, we'll roll out. To give an alternative to the consumer. So that if you go to the filling station and you find that today the price of PMS has gone too high, you can switch and buy LPG, which will be cheaper, buy CNG, which will be cheaper, or even buy LNG, which will be cheaper at the pump. So these are some of the alternatives that government is providing, at least to ensure that our people do not collapse under the weight of higher pump price. So this gentlemen of the press, I don't want to say too much because today I just wanted to address this issue of deregulation. I will come back to you on other issues very, very soon after the ministerial retreat. But I thought we should sit down together and reason together as Nigerians and at least let Nigerians see the actual picture of this policy so that nobody will go there and misinform the people. Now, the unfortunate thing about Nigeria is that we politicized everything. The same person who was in government, let me say the same political party that was in government a few years ago, trying tooth and nail to achieve deregulation, is the same party outside government that is now advocating subsidy. Just a few minutes ago, as if I was going to, somebody knew I was going to address the press on this matter. They sent me a clip of Sanusi, the former emir's speech a few years ago. And he said very clearly, he said, look, deregulation was a necessary economic decision to be taken. And that even if the government of the day, that was the previous government, survived it, that the next government after that government, which is this government, will begin to feel the pains. He said it very clearly, and he saw that far, and he said it. But unfortunately, those who were here, those who were in government trying to achieve deregulation by every means, are the same people who will go and begin to criticize this government for achieving the thing that they wanted to achieve themselves. So I thought we should sit down as friends, let's understand ourselves, so that we can go as partners to the public and take the right message to Nigerians out there.